And here we go, ladies and gentlemen, as we have finally arrived at the main event of SPW's Repentless. Tonight's event is between Lokomotiv, the Russian destroyer, and the reigning SPW Southeast Asian champion, Trexxus. Now, interesting fact about Lokomotiv, perhaps Trexxus' most daunting opponent to date. He is a professional of 13 years vintage, an ex-IWF champion, the king of hardcore. I don't even know how many times he's won that. And this man performs all over the world, in Japan, Turkey, the USA, and Europe. But he has many times declared that SPW is his favorite promotion, and that is why he is here today in pursuit of the SPW Southeast Asian Championship.
Now let's not take anything away from Trexxus. Lokomotiv, the flurry of attack, hard hitting. Oh my goodness. The impact. But Trexxus, let's not take anything away from Trexxus. Trexxus, obviously the most talented wrestler in Southeast Asia. He is the prodigy. He is the Kaiser.
That's right. Well, the Trexxus hasn't been the SPW Southeast Asian champion for as long as he has been for nothing, taking on all comers. But this man, Lokomotiv, is a totally different opponent from anything he's faced before. And let me tell you something, Lukman. I spoke to Lokomotiv in the back room before this match, and I asked him, how are you preparing? He answered me in Russian, 2 words, Nikto Drugoi, which I understand means there is no one else.
Very fluent in Russian, I'm very, very impressed. Now let's call the action in the ring. Trexxus, is he going for? You've seen this so many times before, but we've never seen him pull it out in such an early stage of the match.
And Trexxus surfing almost on Lokomotiv. Is this a wise move to take this man so lightly?
On top of Lokomotiv.
That's a precarious position there. A very precarious, but Trexxus has done this so many times, disrespecting his opponent, standing on him like that. And Lokomotiv has to feel a great deal of shame at this moment.
Great deal of shame and a great deal of pain as well, because that was aiming at the lower back of Lokomotiv. And now Trexxus off throw, but oh my goodness, the hard-hitting Lokomotiv replies back, but Trexxus comes back with a dropkick.
And the train is stopped right in its tracks with that heavy missile dropkick right there, straight to the face of Lokomotiv. But I think he has what it takes to get back up.
Now if Trexxus has done his homework, he knows that he has to stay clear from the corner, because that is where Lokomotiv will pull out this patented maneuver called the Anaka. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Anakaranina. Yes. That's right. And let me tell you this, Trexxus may have the upper hand for now, but this is a Lokomotiv, not the SMRT. He never stops running.
Now this is a match between whose bomb is the biggest. Does Singapore have the bigger bomb than Russia? Because Loko has the Loko bomb, and Trexxus, he has the exclamation mark.
Lokomotiv in full control of this match, holding Trexxus by the throat, throttling the life from him. As you can see, the air squeezed out of Trexxus' body as Lokomotiv holds him in that tight grip. Trexxus fading slowly, and Lokomotiv hurling him around like a rag doll right there.
You can only expect this from a 13-year veteran, wearing down his opponent. I think, am I seeing some blood pouring out of the mouth of Lokomotiv? I could be wrong, but now Trexxus back in control. But so quickly, Lokomotiv, the power to gain back control of the match.
Well, Lokomotiv there with his famous tattoos that he got from his 5-year stint in jail for manslaughter as he takes on Trexxus now.
I have to ask, where on earth are you getting your facts? But look at that, Trexxus powers out of it. Lokomotiv, oh my goodness.
Очень хорошо from Lokomotiv right there.
And I think we have a special guest here, Andre Frois.
I gotta tell you about Lokomotiv. I've been to Moscow, I've been to Russia, I've been in the dungeon, I've seen the way this man trains, this man eats, he's a destroyer, he ain't got no mercy in his blood, he got no compassion, he got no soul. Look at his eyes. Cameraman, zoom, look into his eyes. Look at that, look at those forearms. But then I tell you, I also know Trexxus. Trexxus is a phenomenon. I know him since before puberty. He is the future. He is the present. Watch my words. They are true.
And some insight there from the voice of SPW, Andre Frois, who has been to Moscow himself to witness firsthand the strength, power, and tenacity of Lokomotiv.
That is the last time I'm ever going to be nice to anybody and let them come on commentary. And now let's call the action back on the table. Both men now outside. Loco has Trexxus.
Lokomotiv in full control of the match right there. But Trexxus fighting back, a fighting champion, the fighting champion we all know he is. And the battle is going on in ringside right in front of the fans. Is that Trexxus seated on a fan? Look, man, my goodness, that's outrage of modesty right there.
We talk about how hard Loco can hit, but Trexxus, let's not take anything away from Trexxus. This fire will not burn! And onto the hardest part of the ring, the corner.
I think this fire is burning, Lukman. You know, now it's my turn to ask you where you get your facts from. Because the fire is burning as proudly and strongly as the fire on Lokomotiv's tights. He may be down for now, but rest assured he's gonna come back as he resists. As he resists that attempt by Trexxus. A dodge and a kick to the gut there. Trexxus once more with the air kicked out of his lungs.
And look at that, Loco, that is a man with evil intentions, but no, Trexxus fights out of it. Big boot there by Trexxus. Not enough to take down Loco, but Trexxus, what is the end? Trexxus flying out of the ring, swing, big suicide dive there.
Tope suicida right there from Trexxus. The insanity, the madness, only here in SPW.
And the fans are on their feet, ladies and gentlemen. This is the only place you can catch such magnificent action here, only in SPW.
And the fans all up on their feet, excited by the action in front of them. The violence, we know Lokomotiv is a violent character. Is he playing possum here? It looks like he may be faking it as Trexxus taunts him and gets ready to set up his finisher. And as I suspected, Lokomotiv just playing possum, nailing Trexxus with a clubbing blow to the face.
It may be Trexxus' fault. I think he took a little bit too much time there.
Well, as you mentioned earlier, Lukman, Trexxus may be a little bit guilty of overconfidence and arrogance, and against an opponent like the Lokomotiv, you can never be that way.
Trexxus and SPW original, but I think he might have, that kick might have hyperextended the knee of Trexxus.
That's right.
To see how this plays into this match here tonight. Could Loco capitalize on this?
That's right, and Lokomotiv in total control of the match, attempting to pull Trexxus over the rope.
Oh my God!
God!
Lokomotiv, the strength of Lokomotiv on display, literally pulling Trexxus from outside into the ring, and the impact all on the back of Trexxus' head. Yeah. Trexxus might be knocked out right now. He might be suffering concussion. And ladies and gentlemen, this is awesome. And Trexxus kicks out of it. Trexxus manages to kick out of it. The fighting spirit of Trexxus on display here.
I don't even know how he kicked out of that, Lukman. I don't even know how he kicked out of that mighty attack.
Look at that. I think Trexxus is favoring his head. He might be suffering a concussion there.
Well, we all know.
At this point, I'm very, very worried for Trexxus.
And Lokomotiv playing around with Trexxus, but Trexxus showing the fight and spirit of a Singaporean taking on this Russian challenger. And Lokomotiv furious, his famous brawling, hard-hitting style.
And look at that, Trexxus is in a position that he doesn't want to be in. Could Loco be setting up for the Loco Bomb? But no, Trexxus reverses out of it. Maybe a desperation there by Trexxus, but no, Trexxus. He's trying to go for the exclamation mark. Could he go for it?
Oh, the strength and power!
Trexxus, but no!
The Lokomotiv holding on to the ropes. Trexxus manages to exclamation mark! Will he do it? And Lokomotiv kicks out at 2 3/4.
Fans are standing in disbelief. How is this even possible? How much damage can this Russian man take?
I have never seen anybody kick out the exclamation mark. I have seen Trexxus use that finisher on a Russian grizzly bear, and the bear didn't kick out. The bear died. But Lokomotiv, the strength, the power, the resilience to kick out of a move like that. You can see why he's a legitimate challenger for the SPW Southeast Asian
Trexxus
Championship.
really has his work cut out for him. Now just trying to psych himself back into this match, thinking of what else he can do in order to get the victory here, in order to retain the SPW
He's tried almost
Asian
everything.
Championship. Trexxus, where on earth is he going?
And Trexxus coming down to the commentary area, gonna walk away with his belt. As you know, the title holder has the advantage.
And why is referee Sonic allowing this?
But finally, it looks like he's trying to do the right thing for once. For once. Thank you, referee, for once. Show some integrity.
But no, Trexxus has his belt, tries to go hit over the head of Lokomotiv. But no, Lokomotiv still takes that the belt to the forehead.
And a disqualification. And as you know, the title does not change hands with a disqualification. Trexxus finally showing his dark side. And what's this? GM Carl Heller stepping in.
And GM Carella asserting his authority.
Loud cheers from the crowd who did not want to see this end. Oh my God, Lokman! We have never seen a chairs match here at SPW before. It's the first time this is happening. Are you ready for the violence that Lokomotiv is about to unleash on Trexxus?
Now remember, we mentioned earlier before, Lokomotiv is the king of hardcore. I don't know how many times he has been given that title. But all these fans are just going crazy right now.
Holding their chairs aloft. Audience participation at a high, and GM Carl Heller's popularity at an all-time high right now. These fans want violence, and he has given it to them. Now let's hear from the GM himself some perspective on his most recent decision.
I make all the right decisions. Everything I say is true. Everything I say is great. And you want to see something? It's all about the chairs. You want to sit on them? Not tonight. Stand up and feel the violence.
And there you have it, some perspective from the general manager himself, who just made this historic, groundbreaking announcement here in Singapore Pro Wrestling.
How many chairs are under the ring? Oh my goodness. And look at that, Lokomotiv is just waiting for all these chairs to come into the ring because he knows this is his speciality.
This is his playground, my friend. The king of hardcore, Lokomotiv, just waiting for the weapons to be given to him. And is Trexxus making a fatal, a mortal mistake here? Trexxus, do you know what you're doing?
Trexxus sets the chair over there. I'm not sure what he has in store, but I'm sure it's not good. Trexxus now just waiting for Lokomotiv to get back on his feet. Loko just taking his time. Could he be playing possum?
Once again, we know he has form for it. He dodges that.
Oh my goodness! He punched! He punched! His fist just went through the chair, knocking out Trexxus. This has to be it. We might have a new champion here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So,
and Trexxus kicks out, proving his strength, showing that he's able to overcome the strength of that IKEA chair as he kicks out from that vicious blow from Lokomotiv.
It doesn't matter whether the chairs are from IKEA. You take an impact like that with a foreign object, you're bound to get knocked out. And now Loco just setting up the chair. Trexxus positioning Trexxus, but no, Trexxus flies out of it. Big boot there.
Right to the face, and as Lokomotiv likes to say about himself, Lokomotiv, Nizamenim, Nikto Drugoi. Once again, he is the indispensable wrestler, one of the greatest wrestlers of the world.
Oh my goodness! My goodness, that chair is broken in half!
The chair collapses beneath him. And how does he kick out, Lukman? I can't believe it. I can't believe what I'm seeing.
I am having a headache just calling this match. And I'm sure these men might be going through even more pain than I am.
I don't even know how they're continuing, Lukman. What a massive blow to the head as Lokomotiv goes right through that chair where he usually goes through human bodies. But will this train stop running? I think not, as Lokomotiv already starting to get back to his feet.
And now there are still many more chairs here in the ring. Trexxus is just setting up, putting the chairs together. What does he have planned here? Certainly very evil in terms of, but no, Loco gets up.
Lokomotiv waiting for him.
Rolling elbow there. How much more punishment can Trexxus take?
Lokomotiv setting up for something there. What's he gonna do? Is it the collapse that he's preparing for?
I think Loco might be going for a half and half suplex, trying to...
No, Loco, don't be Loco. Don't be Loco. Come on. And
Trexxus
Trexxus
reverses into a waist lock. Loco fights out of it.
Both these competitors evenly matched in terms of strength and skill. Trexxus with the upper hand going for the back suplex. Oh, Lokomotiv goes through the chairs again. The devastation, the destruction. And still, he manages to kick out. Ladies and gentlemen, this is carnage. This is SPW.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the type of action you can expect from our shows here, SPW Repentless. I am in disbelief how much punishment can these two men take.
Both wrestlers unrepentant about the damage they have caused to each other. Completely unrepentant.
And look at that, Trexxus still setting up the chairs. What else does he have in store here? It didn't go so well for Trexxus the previous time.
The Lokomotiv reaching out, pulling himself up. You know, he still hasn't used some of his moves yet. Trexxus has almost all but exhausted his armory.
Well, look at that, the way that Trexxus is positioning the chairs. I think he might be setting up an exclamation mark
through the chairs, Lukman.
At this point in time, you have to try everything.
And the powerful spit of Lokomotiv, disorientating Trexxus, catching the knee. And Trexxus clubbing to the back in vain.
The Lokomotiv, oh my goodness, Lokomotiv fights out of it.
The back straight into the corner turnbuckles, and let me tell you, that's a hard hitting.
Can we get those drum fence out?
Oh my goodness. Hey, nobody wants to see that, Lukman. Nobody wants to see that. But Lokomotiv doesn't care about the adversity. Lokomotiv in full control once again.
And at this point, how long has this match actually gone for? I think it's safe to say at least 15 minutes. Oh my goodness! How? We've never seen that before in SPW.
And Lokomotiv still manages to kick out. And you know something, Lukman? I feel bad for Trexxus. I feel bad for Lokomotiv.
Again, Trexxus is thinking to himself, what else does he have to do in order to get the victory here tonight?
Trexxus has tried almost everything. And it's amazing that he's managed to exert so much control over as vicious, a violent, a seasoned competitor as Lokomotiv. And he has Lokomotiv on the ropes here. Lokomotiv struggling to get back to his feet. And it looks like almost none of the chairs can be used anymore. The audience calling for tables.
Oh my goodness. You hear the impact. Did you hear the impact?
And a heavy hit there from Trexxus. A blow to the knee with the chair. Was this the right decision by GM Carl Heller? This match is descending into chaos and violence. Trexxus, a disrespectful foot on the back of Lokomotiv, getting his knee ready for that hard-hitting knee shot. But Lokomotiv reverses right there. Lokomotiv reverses right there. And Lokomotiv going for the Loko bomb. The Loko bomb through the chest. The Loko bomb. He pulls it off. My God, will we see a new champion? We see a new champion. Singapore's first ever Russian champion. Отлично! Отлично, Lokomotiv! Очень хорошо! Отлично!
I can't believe it! It actually happened! We have a new champion in 2018!
An amazing performance, triumphing over all adversity to become the new SPW Southeast Asian champion. What an amazing show! What an amazing performance! And what an amazing title match only here at SPW Repentless.